What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Well, guys, training camp is in full swing here, and we got to talk about this position battle, Derek. And I think it's one that maybe we didn't think was going to be as big of a battle as it's been. But cornerback 2 has been so interesting, man, because I think there's kind of just like this dogfight almost for that cornerback 2 position between, I think, 3 different players that we're talking about, right? And this was a position group that we didn't think there was maybe going to be this type of battle so early on into camp. But here we are looking at these 3 guys who are competing. And you have Jalen Jones, who was the starter last year. He was the number 1 corner for you a year ago. He had a really good day on Friday. He's been making some plays. You have the young kid, Justin Wally, who has been in the starting lineup as well. He was in the starting lineup on day 1, and with some of the veterans getting some rest the last couple of days, he's also stayed in the starting lineup as well. And then you have the number 1 corner from a year ago before he got injured, Juju Brents, the second-round pick from 2023. He's made some plays as well. So, Derek, all that to say, this is a big battle from what we're hearing. I mean, this is a true competition here to see who is that number 2 outside corner on the starting defense. And we know all the time, we've talked about it all the time, right? Like, and I even compared it to that wide receiver battle from a year ago between Alec Pierce and A.D. Mitchell. When you have all these guys competing, it only serves to help these guys be better as players. So what are your impressions so far from what we've heard about all 3 of these guys and what this position battle is going to look like here? Because I think there's a scenario, Derek, where we could see any of these 3 players take this number 2 outside corner position. What are your thoughts?
Before we even got into training camp, we thought that this was a Charvarius Ward, Jalen Jones type of lock, for the beginning of this. And then, the other guys, Wally, Brents, Womack, those guys are all going to have to figure it out, right? But so far, it has not been the case. And, we've talked about it in plenty of videos already through the first couple days that Justin Wally is basically acting like the cornerback 2 right now, at least outside corner, I guess I should say. But even so, I could still say, yeah, he's amongst the top because even when Kenny Moore goes out with either rest or an injury, we've seen Wally will now be in at nickel too. So if you need him anywhere, the Colts are now getting him in multiple different cornerback spots, which probably the versatility at which he can play is what is driving Lou Anarumo to put him in these positions more so than some of the other guys, because some of the other guys are mainly outside guys. But you're right. Juju Brents has been making plays in camp so far. And, I mean, Jalen Jones isn't sitting around not making plays himself. He's had quite a few pass deflections to start camp in these periods, too. And so I haven't heard much about Womack. Haven't heard much about his name, but we know that he was able to be serviceable in the long run of last season when the cornerback issues when we were having those. But yeah, I mean, this is a legitimate competition between 5 guys that legitimately can, go back and forth with each other any given day. And that is fantastic to have. It's a great problem to have when you have so many corners that you feel comfortable going forward with this. Now, I mean, knock on wood, all these guys stay healthy, right? I mean, that's the number 1 thing. I've always said I never doubted Juju Brents' abilities on the field. It's just his ability to stay on the field. That's the number 1 concern. Jalen Jones hasn't had too many issues when it comes to injuries so far, so hopefully that stays the same. Same with Charvarius Ward. You hope the same way there. And, of course, Justin Wally's really been taking full advantage of every opportunity that he's been given so far. And so, yeah, I mean, this is a great battle so far, Cody, and it's been great to see all of them doing well.
Absolutely. I mean, we know how bad the cornerback depth was a year ago. So it's very refreshing to see now, like you said. I mean, you have, I would say, three guys that are probably in competition right now, like serious competition for cornerback three. But then you also have Sam Womack, who can fill in. Obviously, we saw last year and played a pretty respectable level. Then you have you brought in Corey Ballantyne as well, who has some experience, kind of a veteran in that group. So I mean, you're right. Outside of Charvarius Ward and Kenny Moore, you have five corners that you feel like you would be okay with. And that wasn't the case a year ago. It wasn't even close to that. Heck, you got lucky that Samuel Womack panned out the way that he did last year. I mean, it was rough. It was really rough. And so obviously the Colts felt like, and Chris Ballard felt like we don't want that to happen again when it comes to this group. And, we've heard all the time, Derek, about how Lou Anarumo and, this defensive coaching staff, they're going to use a lot more DBs on the field than the Colts did last year on defense, right? So I think regardless of, if it's whoever it is, if it's Juju Brents, if it's Jalen Jones, if it's Justin Wally, if it's somebody else, I think you're still going to see these guys on the field, regardless if they are technically cornerback two, if you know what I mean, right? So all to say, it's going to be fun. It's been fun already to kind of hear these different players making strong impressions so far through camp. And you have kind of a combination of a lot of talent, but also some question marks with some of these guys, right? So there's some guys who have a lot to prove. I mean, Juju Brents is the obvious example, but let's talk about Jalen Jones. I mean, he's just not going to get handed this number two cornerback position. He's just not. He's going to have to earn it. And also Justin Wally. You took him in the third round when a lot of people said you should have taken another position. And a lot of people were upset at that pick. So all these guys have things to prove. Everybody does. All three of these guys that we're talking about here, right? So it's just so much fun. I'm so intrigued with how this does play out. I mean, I think, like I said, these guys are going to see the field, but man, it's just so fun. And like I said at the top of the video, it's only going to serve to make all of these cornerbacks better. That's what it's going to do with this competition. And that's what you want, right? You want 3, 4, 5 capable corners on this team. And you want some guys, maybe some of these young guys, to take another step in their game this year. And if they can do that, man, you already have Charvarius Ward, who, when he is right, he is a top corner in this league. And if any of these young guys can take a step forward in their game, this might be one of the most, from a depth standpoint and also just a, play standpoint, this might be one of the better cornerback rooms in the NFL, to be honest with you.
Well, and the great part about having a Charvarius Ward, and it's something we didn't talk about a ton throughout the offseason, because we kind of just talked about what Charvarius Ward does for the entirety of the team. But just for the defensive corner room in general, when you have a guy like a Charvarius Ward, when you have a potential lockdown corner, then people are going to be less inclined to want to attack that lockdown corner. They want to try to find some other places on the defense. That is going to give more guys opportunities to make more plays. So if you see the pass deflection numbers, interception numbers, things like that, you see those go up for Jones, Womack, Brent, Wally. Like, if you see those numbers high, that in some ways can be a direct correlation to Charvarius Ward, because you're a guy that is going to force offenses to find other ways on the defense to beat you. And you're going to give those other guys chances because they're going to get targeted more often. So you're going to give those guys more chances to be able to take advantage of said opportunities. And you're also putting your other guys in a better position because they're not having to face a Mike Evans or a Devontae Adams all the time, right? They're going to be facing guys that are more on par with their skill level or even below their skill level. And that allows for you to have more opportunities to help the team in other ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That will definitely help a lot. If you guys have guys who are more than capable of doing that, I mean, it's just a really good situation that you find yourself in. I mean, it's kind of like almost an embarrassment of riches at cornerback right now, which is something that a year ago we would have loved to have, but we didn't, unfortunately, and you had a lack of depth, and now that is you turned a weakness into a strong point for sure with this cornerback room. But yeah, man, all that to say, it's still early. I've said that a lot, but there's a lot that can happen, a lot that can change, and we'll just see if it indeed will change throughout the course of the next couple days, the next couple weeks, next couple months leading up to the regular season. So, guys, let us know your thoughts about the cornerback room and really this battle that's going on really between these three different corners. And who do you think will take it at the end of the day? Would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, all that good stuff. So you're in the loop when we drop fresh content like we're going to do every day, probably multiple times a day, honestly, now, Derek, that we're in the full swing of football. But you guys definitely want to be a part of that. That'll do it again for this one, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. And as always, guys, go Colts.